Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just hit the link in the show description to support now.
Looking for shows that blow your mind and characters you'll never forget? Well, AMC Plus has the best entertainment from AMC, BBC America, IFC, Sundance, and Shudder. Love a good binge watch? Check out one of AMC's most watched series, the gripping western, Hell on Wheels. Need a new obsession? Don't miss what Entertainment Weekly is calling one of the year's best series, Gangs of London. Plus, watch the hotly anticipated brand new season of A Discovery of Witches and catch up on season 1 right now. All available ad-free and on demand. Sign up at amcplus.com. AMC Plus, only the good stuff.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Cognitive Recalibration Podcast. As always, I'm your host Shravan. We've got Torrin here with us.
Hey everyone.
Today we're going to be talking about the delightful Pixar movie Soul, which we watched back in towards the end of 2020, but we haven't had a chance to talk about it, and I actually really liked it, so I thought we'd have a chat about it today. Bit about the movie: it's directed by Peter Docter, and that name might not be familiar to a lot of people, but basically he's directed a lot of the standalone Pixar movies, so one of them being Inside Out, his previous one, but he's also directed Up and Monsters, Inc., the first one.
Pixar prodigy.
And he's been with Pixar for a long time, so he's been involved in he was involved from Toy Story onwards in some form. So he was a writer for Toy Story, and then he was director for Monsters, Inc., and then he was involved with Incredibles and Ratatouille as in some form. So he's been basically involved in...
He's been in and around the system.
Yeah. So this movie, it stars Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey. They're the two main characters, but it has a bunch of other actors as well in the supporting cast. But those two are the main ones that we follow. We'll get into what the story is in a second. This was meant to release in July of 2020. Obviously, like a lot of movies, it got delayed because of COVID-19. And then eventually Disney made the decision to release it straight to Disney Plus. And it didn't come with the price tag that Mulan did, for example. So it was actually just a normal release onto Disney Plus, which I think a lot of people appreciated. A bit about the streaming, actually, now that we're on the streaming part of it. So this released straight to Disney Plus, as I said. And apparently 13% of viewers that watch this movie subscribe to Disney Plus just to watch this movie. So they got basically new subscribers that wanted to watch this movie.
That's more than I thought. 13%, fair amount.
Yeah. I mean, that's a decent number, and I think that's what Disney were banking on by not making it a purchasable movie like they did with Mulan. Mm. Another thing that came out from this movie is apparently it hasn't been on streaming for that long, but apparently it's already amongst the most watched straight to streaming titles of 2020, right behind the other Disney Plus release, Hamilton, which I still haven't seen. Apparently it's amazing. And also the other Christmas release, Wonder Woman 1984.
Oh, okay. This is all streaming?
All streaming, yeah.
Okay. Better than Netflix stuff?
Yeah.
Better than the Adam Sandler Netflix movies?
So the most actually got some stats on this. So
I know what the most streamed TV show is on Netflix. Oh, I think on everywhere, I think.
Witcher, which you said before. Yeah.
Oh, did I say that already?
I think this is the third episode where you're mentioning this.
Oh, I love saying that. Bridgerton's number 5, in case anyone wanted to know.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen that yet?
No, it sucks. No, I've seen some of it. It's not for me. It's not for me.
Some stats on 2020 streaming in terms of movies. What's the number one streamed movie of 2020 on all platforms? So Disney Plus, Netflix, Amazon, everything.
Everything. Okay. Did you just say it just before though?
I may have.
Yeah. Is it? You said Wonder Woman, didn't you?
No. So it wasn't Wonder Woman. It was Hamilton.
Oh, no, you just said it just before. You said Hamilton and then it's Wonder Woman.
Yeah. So Hamilton is the most streamed movie on any platform. And then number 2 is Borat, the Borat the second movie. I think it's called Subsequent Movie or something like that.
Subsequent movie film.
On Amazon Prime. Third, I'll leave that as a suspense. It's not one you're going to ever guess. But fourth was Extraction on Netflix. And then fifth, might be a surprise to a lot of people, but I know a lot of people like this show. Phineas and Ferb the movie.
Oh, okay. Yep.
The new one that came out this year. So that's number 5. Number 3, just take a guess at what number 3 might be.
Give me a clue. Is it an Adam Sandler movie?
No.
Okay.
It's on Amazon Prime.
It's on Amazon Prime. It's a movie.
It's a movie. These are all movies. Yeah.
It's an English movie.
Yes, it's an English movie. Yeah.
On Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Palm Springs.
No.
No, I don't know that.
It's a movie that released theatrically. So it wasn't like a straight to Amazon release.
Last year.
Yeah.
It released theatrically and then got released on Amazon Prime.
Afterwards, yeah. So I think it released maybe early last year.
My Spy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How'd you guess that?
I don't know. That's the only movie I could think of on Amazon Prime that released theatrically last year.
Yeah.
It was either that or Bloodshot. That was my second guess.
Yeah, My Spy. I just never thought that would be up there. Number 3. I haven't seen it yet. I actually really wanted to watch it when I saw the trailer for it. So maybe we'll watch it after.
You're the only one. Well, actually, evidently not. You're not the only one. There's lots of people that want to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm doing after this. Back to Soul. So Soul, it actually did release theatrically in some places where it could release, and also places where they don't have Disney Plus. So it released mostly in Asia. So it actually did really well in China. So at the overall box office level, it's made 58 million, which is not too bad in the current circumstances. Most of that is from China. So it's got about 26 million from China. One thing about China, because I know they don't like Star Wars, and I heard one of the reasons that they don't like Star Wars is because it's got ghosts in it, and they don't like ghosts. I don't know if that's true. I could be like just, completely being culturally insensitive here.
So,
but
I don't actually know. But
this movie, it deals with, souls and the afterlife and things. Thanks for that. So we've got a new console that does podcasting stuff for us, and it comes inbuilt with these sounds. And usually I'm in control of this console, so that's why you haven't heard these sound effects.
That's why you haven't had this amazing background side sound effects coming through.
But
today I'm on the console, so
yeah, you're going to get a whole new experience in this episode. Yeah. So
it deals with all the spooky stuff.
Yeah, it deals. I mean, I wouldn't say spooky, but it's like afterlife, that sort of stuff, and it. But obviously it's resonated with Chinese, and it's resonated with a lot of people. And we'll get into what we think about the movie.
It's because it's got little cute characters.
I guess so, yeah. So what is the story?
This guy's a I was going to say musician. I was going to say musician.
It's a musician and a magician together.
He's a teacher. He's a school teacher.
That was the perfect time for you to use one of the sound effects. But yeah.
That one, yeah. He's a school teacher who teaches music, but he wants to be an actual musician.
Yes.
Like he wants to play shows and stuff like that. He's a jazz musician.
Yes.
Which
is another, I mean, there's obviously the music side of it, and there's, the genre of music called soul as well.
Yes.
That's kind of another way the title blends
in together. Yeah. And he gets a gig finally, but then he dies. Yeah.
That's literally what happens. Yeah.
And then this try to become back alive.
This movie could be really dark. Like, he dies.
Yeah, he straight up dies. Like, falls down a manhole and he's dead. And yeah, he's trying to come back alive. Tina Fey's trying to stay dead. No, not dead. She's unborn. Tina Fey doesn't want to be born.
So he gets transported, when he dies, he gets transported into this dimension where they go into this afterlife phase of their life. But then there's another part which is like the before life part.
Which is somehow, there shouldn't be a link that close to them. It's very easy to swap from one to the other.
Yes. Yeah. And obviously when he does die, he's just landed this gig that, he's been waiting for his whole life. So he really doesn't want to die now. Like, he's been waiting his whole life for this, and then he dies. So that's why he wants to go back And then he meets this other character, which is played by Tina Fey, 22. Her name is 22 because that's the number designated to her soul, essentially. So she was the 22nd soul ever made. And she's been in this before life dimension for a very, very long time because she never wants to go down to Earth and actually live a proper life. And she has her reasons for that. So it's basically this interaction between someone who really wants to go back to Earth and another person who really doesn't want to go to Earth, and what happens based on that. And the movie takes a bit of a unexpected turn. Like, I didn't know this because I didn't really watch the trailers or anything for this, so I didn't know that this happens where they do eventually come back to Earth, but something happens. We'll get into it in spoilers, but yeah, I thought that was an interesting twist. But the main thing I liked about this movie is that these Pixar movies that deal with like these non-franchise Pixar movies. So if you take out like the Incredibles, the Toy Stories, these one-off sort of movies, and they deal with like pretty deep philosophical questions. Like Inside Out's one of them. This is obviously one of them, and I guess Up sort of falls into that category as well. I wouldn't say they're made for kids, but kids can watch them. But I feel like adults will relate to them more, and it actually resonates more with adults, and this is no different to that. Inside Out's probably one of my favorite Pixar movies. It's up there. It's probably in the top 3 for me, and I really like this one as well because it makes you question certain things, especially after the year 2020 was. So I really like that. And the other thing is, it's a movie dealing with the afterlife, and generally that's only really explored. It's hard to explore this sort of concept without getting into some sort of religious construct, some sort of religion type thing. But they deal with it in a very independent of religious beliefs sort of way. So it in no way is it a religious movie at all. Anyone can relate to it. You don't have to be a religious person as such. So I think they did that really well. I appreciated how they did that. And one thing we always mention with Pixar movies is the animation is amazing. Unfortunately, we had to watch it at home on a TV. We watched it at our parents' place on just a normal full HD TV. It wasn't even 4K, and it looked amazing. So I'm assuming that if this actually released in cinemas, it would have been an incredible experience in terms of the visuals. Anything you had to add on top of that?
Not really. It was a good movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I think I liked it more than you, but maybe, I don't know if it's because of the phase I'm in my life as well, like this midlife crisis sort of phase. So maybe it just resonated with me more.
Yeah, that's fair. I definitely thought it was a good movie though. It's kind of Inside Out-ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very similar feels.
Yeah, and they do mix in. It's obviously, it could be a very serious topic and quite dark.
But it's got lots of good humor in it as well.
It's got a lot of humor mixed into it, so that makes it an enjoyable time as well. I just think it's a good time to watch. I think it's probably a bit too deep for like little kids. I just don't think they'd really probably enjoy this movie as much. But I think maybe sort of early teens onwards would really find this movie enjoyable as well as insightful, I guess. That it adds it just gives you a bit of perspective, a little bit of a different perspective on life, essentially. So I would say it's almost like emphasizing that you should live life, pretty much. That's the message from the movie. Yeah. So I actually really, really enjoyed it. It's probably, I said in our most anticipated episode where I said it was my favorite movie of 2020. Slim pickings for 2020, but
there was like 4 movies to pick from, so this was the one.
Yeah.
But it's definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. If you've got Disney Plus, definitely watch it.
It's free. Better than Mulan, which I paid $30 for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's better than Mulan. I give it a cognitive recalibration.
Same. Yeah. Yep.
We can jump into spoilers, but I've got a bit of trivia, spoiler-related trivia. So if you haven't seen the movie, please watch it and then come back to this point in the episode and listen to our spoilers. In the initial draft of the story, apparently 22 was the main character. So you'd actually meet 22 and see the movie through 22's perspective. And then they kind of reversed it because they thought it would be more relatable to have a main character that's from Earth rather than from this other dimension. So there's all these Pixar Easter eggs, which I only
As
started.
there always is.
Yeah, I mean there are, but they're even deeper than I even expected them. So apparently, there's this whole concept of A113. Have you heard of this?
Yeah.
So it's a classroom number used by the character animation students in the California Institute of Arts, and a lot of the students of that school end up becoming Pixar workers. So they end up working for Pixar. There's just these subtle references to A113 in apparently all Pixar movies, and this movie is no different. There's this hall of everything. I think it's in the pre-birth dimension where you figure out what your sort of talents are, what your interests are and stuff. And there's a part where there's a Pizza Planet truck, which is another reference in itself. So there's a Pizza Planet truck, which is a reference to Toy Story.
Yeah.
But within the same shot, there's a street sign that says A113. There's another A113 Easter egg, and this is like super subtle. So when Terry is searching for Joe, she pushes a key on the piano. Terry being, I think it's that character that's does.
Oh,
the
he's like
numbers.
the old,
like he counts.
the all knowing being.
He keeps track of the numbers, so like everything needs to tally up. So the number of people on Earth and the number of people in the afterlife and all that has to tally up. So that character's Terry. When she's searching for Joe, she pushes a key on a piano, and the note is A2. So this is what I mean when it's super deep. So it's A2, but it's a detuned piano, and when you check the tuning, it's at 113 hertz, so 113 hertz. So it's A113.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Other Easter eggs. It's a whole bunch of them.
Yes. What, there's the ball?
Which ball?
I don't know, there's like this
Pixar
inflatable ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's in like every Pixar movie.
Yeah. It's probably in here somewhere.
Probably in there.
I didn't see it. One of the ads on the subway is for Brang, which is the startup company that Riley's dad moved to in San Francisco and Inside Out.
Oh, okay.
So they're sort of in an interrelated universe. And then 22. So she's had a lot of the way it works with these new souls that go into Earth is they have some mentors that help them transition into life. And 22's had a whole bunch of very prominent mentors throughout time. But one of them that she mentions like a lot of famous people like Mahatma Gandhi and Mother Teresa and stuff like that. But three significant Disney names that she mentions are Joe Grant, Joe Ranft, and Jack Kirby.
Is Jack Kirby the same Jack Kirby that made? No, it's a different Jack Kirby, I'm guessing.
No, it's the same. It's the same.
The Batman Jack Kirby.
No. Is that Jack Kirby? That's Bill Finger, right?
Isn't it Jack Kirby and Bill Finger?
So Jack Kirby he's the artist. So he's the one that drew a lot of comic book characters. So I think he worked at DC and Marvel, but when he worked at Marvel, he created a lot of the famous characters. So Spider-Man, Captain America, X-Men, Thor, Hulk. So he was the illustrator for a lot of those. So that's the Jack Kirby that she mentioned.
So Jack Kirby's the guy that made Batman.
So is it Bob Kane? Who's always...
oh, no, it's Bob Kane. Yeah, it's Bob Kane. Jack Kirby's different. Yeah. Jack Kirby's Marvel, yeah.
Yeah, Jack Kirby.
Bob Kane's the guy that made Batman, but Bill Finger actually made Batman.
Yeah. And then the other two names, so Joe Grant. So Grant is a Disney animation legend who worked on classic films going all the way back through to Snow White, which is the very first theatrically released Disney film, all the way through the Disney Renaissance. And then he also helped Pete Docter on Monsters, Inc. So he was around working on animation for a very, very long time. And the other name, Ranft, who's also a Disney legend, worked at Disney Animation before moving to Pixar and being nominated for an Academy Award for the screenplay of Toy Story. So he was mainly working on Pixar movies. He also voiced Heimlich. Can't remember who that is in Bug's Life.
Okay. Yeah, I can't remember who that is either.
Other Pixar-related Easter eggs. So when Joe's getting a haircut by Des, so there's this sequence where we haven't really mentioned this twist, but basically they end up going back to Earth, but they switch bodies. Yeah. And Joe goes into the body of a cat. Yeah. And 22 goes into the body of Joe.
Yep.
After this happens, basically Joe needs to get a haircut and he goes to his normal barber, Des. And Des has a picture of his daughter with the bunny doll from Toy Story 4, which is voiced by Jordan Peele.
Oh, yeah. Yep. No, I do remember that doll. Yeah.
the first soul, so there's a part in the soul dimension where they count, well, they're basically assigning numbers to each of the new souls. And the first new soul that they assign a number to is number 108-210-121-415. And that's just not just any random number. Apparently it lines up with the current, as of the release, estimate from the Population Reference Bureau, which estimates that more than 108 billion humans have ever existed on Earth.
Oh, okay.
At any point in time.
So it's an accurate estimation.
Yes. There's some other spoiler stuff, but I guess we can... Is there any particular spoiler things you wanted to talk about for this movie?
No, it's not really like a spoiler-heavy movie, is it? Other than that, the cat
switcheroo.
swapping, which was fun. That led to some very funny moments. Yeah, there's not too many heavy spoilers. I didn't expect him to go back to Earth at the end. I thought that was surprising.
So I've got something on that because apparently there was an alternate ending. He still goes back to Earth. So in the alternate ending, Joe ends up touring with Williams.
Tina Fey.
Yeah, not Tina Fey. So that the singer that
the singer.
Yeah, so he ends up touring with her and teaching students privately on the side. And then apparently 22 becomes one of his new students and he recognized that it was her.
Does she recognize him?
I don't think so because he's like a new soul. According to one of the producers, the ending was rejected because there was something that innately was not satisfying about it. So they leave the ending pretty open. So you don't actually see what happens, like where 22 ends up going.
Yeah.
And Joe ends up going back to Earth and all he says is he's going to...
live life.
Just live life, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's...
I thought he would die, but that would have been a pretty sad ending.
Yeah. Because he was...
It is a kid's movie, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I think he was like pretty much...
He was happy to die.
He was ready to
content.
Die. Yeah. But they give him another chance.
Yeah. I thought he was going to reject the second chance as well. I'm like, oh, okay, so he's going back.
They fudge the numbers a bit and they send him back and they give him another chance.
Yeah. I guess it's a kid's movie, so they can't just kill off the main character.
Yes. Yeah. So it still ends on a slight, like...
positive note.
Positive. Yeah. I wouldn't say happy, but it's like positive and slightly open-ended. There's one more Easter egg, and this is like an Easter egg to, I guess, real life. So there's... when Joe's in the cat's body, he comes across a rat dragging a slice of pizza. And apparently that's a reference, and apparently this really happened. In 2015, there was an infamous New York City rat who was caught on video by comedian Matt Little dragging an entire piece of pizza down the subway steps. And it was called the Pizza Rat.
That deserves that. that deserves that.
Standing ovation. Yeah, like... Actually, I'm going to look up that right now. I want to see this video. I want to see this video of this rat with a pizza.
I've never heard of this video.
It is a rat, and it is a big New York pizza slice. Yeah.
He bailed. Too much pizza.
He ends up just dropping it.
Yeah.
So it's a real thing. If you look at the IMDb trivia for this, it's like pages and pages and pages of... trivia for this movie, and most of them are just Easter eggs to other Pixar films. So I haven't included, this is just like, 10, not even 10%. It's like 5% of some of the trivia that's on there. I'm seeing if there's anything else I can add. There's a broccoli pizza from Inside Out that appears in one of the pizzas.
Oh, okay.
When they're at the pizza store. There's subway train that Joe and Mr. Middens are going on is numbered 2319, which is the same code in Monsters, Inc. And Monsters, Inc. is also directed by Peter Docter. So I mean, out of the movies that he's directed, are any of them actually, Pixar rarely makes bad movies anyway, but the ones he's directed are Monsters, Inc., Up, Inside Out, and this.
Yeah, I like all of them.
Monsters, Inc. is probably my...
Nostalgia-wise, Monsters, Inc.'s very
good. And Up is just...
He went from Monsters, Inc., which is like this happy movie, and then he's slowly gotten more depressed as he's gone along. He's gone to Up, which is a kind of sad movie as well. Then went to Inside Out, which is a sad movie, and then he's at this as well.
Yeah.
The next one's going to be about suicide.
The Pixar way, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Up is
sad.
It is sad. Like the first 10, 15 minutes is quite sad, yeah. Inside Out.
Someone should check on this bloke. Is he all right?
Is he okay? Like, he's making very philosophical movies. In terms of what's coming up for him, he's not directing any movies coming up, but he's involved in the next 3 Pixar movies. So one being Luca, which is coming out this year. Don't know what it's about. I haven't seen anything about it, but it's meant to come out in the usual Pixar date, June 20, in June. Then there's 2 other movies. So these were just recently announced. So there's Turning Red, which I'll look up what that one is because I haven't heard of that one. And there's Lightyear, which is that Buzz Lightyear movie starring Chris Evans.
Oh, yeah, on Disney Plus.
No, I think it's a proper movie.
I thought it was coming to Disney Plus. Okay.
Yeah. Turning Red, what is this? Oh, yep, I saw something about this. Turning Red is an upcoming American 3D computer animated coming-of-age film produced by Pixar. It's coming out on March 11th, 2022, and it's about a young girl's devotion to a boy band who uncontrollably poofs into a giant red panda. That's literally what it is.
Okay. The boy band turns into a panda or she turns into a panda?
Let me read this again. A young girl's devotion to a boy band who uncontrollably poofs into a giant red panda.
Her devotion turns into a panda? Like there's 3 options there. I don't know who's turning into the panda.
There's a little bit more on it. So in Turning Red, Mei Lee is a confident, dorky 13-year-old torn between staying her mother's dutiful daughter and the chaos of adolescence. And as if changes to her interests, relationships, and body weren't enough, whenever she gets too excited, which for a teenager is practically always, she poofs into a giant red panda.
She turns into the panda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the poster.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Listeners, just look up Turning Red and you'll see this little girl standing in front of a giant red panda. They're not joking when that is the synopsis. Yeah. It's directed by the director who previously made the short film Bao.
Oh yeah, I like that
Pixar.
one. Yeah.
Luca. I just want to look up what Luca is as well. Synopsis. Okay, so Luca, set in a beautiful seaside town in the Italian Riviera, Disney and Pixar's original film Luca is about a coming-of-age story about one young boy experiencing an unforgettable summer filled with gelato, pasta, and endless scooter rides. Luca shares these adventures with his newfound best friend, but all the fun is threatened by a deeply held secret. They are sea monsters from another world just below the water's surface.
Okay.
Till that last sentence, I'm like, this sounds a lot like, what's that movie with Timothée Chalamet and Call Me By Your Name or something?
Oh, yeah. What? Okay, is that like this movie?
That movie is basically they're in the Italian countryside and they spend a summer together.
Yeah. They just call it's that exact movie except they're monsters instead.
Yeah, I don't know. Pixar's always a coming of age. Like every single synopsis for Pixar is like coming of age.
Coming of age movie. Yeah. They're never not coming of age. When have they of age?
I guess at this one they're of age.
Yeah.
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 I mean, he's so much of age that he's dead. So
yeah.
All right. Anything else on Soul or Pixar?
Not particularly.
Yeah.
Look, they've got their kind of general, not formula, but they've got their baseline, and they always generally hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're generally pretty solid Pixar. So
yeah, like most movies I watch from Pixar, I never walk out saying, I didn't like it.
No. Yeah.
There are some movies in retrospect I'm like, it wasn't really that good.
Yeah, except Cars 2. I walked out of that. I'm like, this is shit.
Like Toy Story 4, it was good, but it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Same with Incredibles 2. It was good, but it wasn't, incredible.
But Cars was trash. We could agree on that. Cars 2 and 3.
2. I haven't seen 3 yet.
Yeah, they're both trash. Yeah.
Yeah, and 1 wasn't great either.
1 is okay. 2 is genuinely probably the worst Pixar movie ever made.
I think so. Bug's Life and all that, they're fine.
They're pretty good, yeah. But yeah, they've got a good baseline. They usually hit it.
What do you think of Onward?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, Onward is good too. I would put it in the same range as like a Monsters University.
Yeah. It's a good baseline. It's good time. I feel like they hit it 99% of the times. 99 out of 100 will be good. You'll get the odd one that's not as good though.
And the animation's always good.
Really
Okay. I think that's all we had on Soul.
Yeah.
So if you haven't
That's
watched it, watch it.
Yeah. I guess to conclude, to sum up what we've talked about, that's pretty much it. You can just not listen to the rest, listen to that one line.
And I think it's a good movie to watch at the moment. Because we live such busy lives and stuff, we tend to lose track of what's really important, and that we should really, try to enjoy our lives a bit more when we can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously,
definitely.
a lot of people, are struggling at the moment. It just gives you a bit of perspective, because some people just don't enjoy life, but they don't really have any reason not to.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. On that highly philosophical note, if people want to get in touch with us,
I wish there was like a philosophical button on this that I could have pushed.
what about this one?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't perfectly fit. Yeah.
Not really, but
No,
yeah.
we'll go with it. Yeah.
Okay. If people want to get in touch with us, how do they go about it?
So we're on Cognitive Recalibration on all platforms. And if you want to email us, our email is cognitiverecalibrationpodcast@gmail.com.
If you want to support the podcast, you can give us a good review on iTunes or Spotify, because that makes us more discoverable on search engines. If you want to further support the podcast, we have Amazon affiliate links, which I'll link below for all the Pixar movies. I think there's actually a bundle where you can get all the, obviously not including Soul, but you can get all the Pixar movies on Blu-ray, which would be a good collector's box set to have if you're a collector of physical media. I know physical media is like dying, and people are like, why would you even buy Blu-rays and stuff? But I think there's still a place for them.
No, I think it's dying. I don't buy anything.
But sometimes streaming services don't have the movie you're looking for, right?
Yeah. That's when you go on Pirate Bay.
We don't endorse that at all. We've never done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the down low, we've done it lots.
Yeah, I mean, I like to collect physical media. So I've got, for example, I've got all Christopher Nolan's movies, including Tenet, which I didn't really like that much, and I probably won't even watch again. But I've got
Still
it.
got it. Yeah. Just in case.
And I've got some of the Marvel ones on, I've spent the extra money to get the Steelbook, the collector's edition of Steelbook. So, yeah, for those of you who still do that, I'll link the movies down below for the Amazon affiliate links, and we get a bit of a kickback. If you want to further...
And for those who don't want to do it, I'll link Pirate Bay below.
And we don't get a kickback. If we
don't get a kickback from Pirate Bay.
We'll get a different kind of kickback from the FBI.
Yeah. But, it's always there.
Okay. And if you want to further support the podcast as well, we've got Buy Me a Coffee, where you can give us a one-off donation, which we'll use to further develop the podcast. That brings us to the end. We're not actually going to link Pirate Bay. I don't want to.
That's what you think.
I don't want to get a call back from the FBI.
Well, we'll see what happens. Could go either way. I can't commit on either one or the other. So
I was listening to this other podcast on the dark web, and like all the stuff that goes on in the dark web.
I thought you said you were listening to the podcast on the dark web. I'm like, how'd you get onto the dark
Yeah,
web?
could,
I didn't know there was podcasts on the dark web.
In other news, you can find us on the dark web as well.
That's where we link Pirate Bay.
So basically, there's this. You have to use this browser. I'm sure like people know about this, but you have to use this browser called Tor, which is what like the US military and stuff use, because they have like highly encrypted information. You need to use that to access the dark web. And when you're on the dark web, there's no websites. Like you can't just type in a website. You need like a special code sort of thing to use it. This podcast was on the Silk Road, which is like how a lot of things came
trafficking
about.
stuff.
Yeah, the drug trafficking on the dark web came about, and then how all those payments were facilitated using Bitcoin as well. So that was like the rise of Bitcoin. It's very interesting. If it's on this podcast called Case Files, very popular podcast, and another Australian podcast. They did a special on the Silk Road, a 3-episode special on the Silk Road a couple of years ago. It's very, very interesting listening, and for those who are interested in the dark web and also Bitcoin, with that doing very well in terms of the price of Bitcoin at the moment. If anyone's interested in that, I'm sure our audience is very different to that sort of audience. But if anyone's interested in that, check it out. It's just eye-opening, and it's just very interesting to see how all this happened. It was facilitated by this guy called the Dread Pirate Roberts. That was his name. It's not his real name, but he basically
Screen name.
Yeah, instigated this whole process with the drugs, and he made a lot of money, but he ended up getting caught as well, going to jail.
Fair enough.
So that's why I don't want to link Pirate Bay.
Okay. But I'm going to link it anyway. I'm going to live life like they said in Soul. If you're going to link Pirate Bay, you link Pirate Bay. So
Okay.
you better go into the description and check if I've linked Pirate Bay or not.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening. I hope you're all staying safe, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Looking for shows that blow your mind and characters you'll never forget? Well, AMC Plus has the best entertainment from AMC, BBC America, IFC, Sundance, and Shudder. Love a good binge watch? Check out one of AMC's most watched series, the gripping Western, Hell on Wheels. Need a new obsession? Don't miss what Entertainment Weekly is calling one of the year's best series, Gangs of London. Plus, watch the hotly anticipated brand new season of A Discovery of Witches and catch up on season 1 right now. All available ad-free and on demand. Sign up at amcplus.com. AMC Plus, only the good stuff.